Dominoes, Quick Starter. The First Flying Man by Elspeth Rawstron. Read by Ben Elliott, Wayne Forrester, Roger May and Christopher Milnes. Published and copyright Oxford University Press 2012. Chapter 1. A Young Man's Dream. My story begins in the 1630s. It is the time of the Ottoman Empire. Hezarfan Ahmed Çelebi is a clever young man of those days. He lives in the district of Üsküdar in Istanbul. Every morning, Hezarfan sits near the Bosphorus Strait. He looks at the tall tower in the district of Galata across the water. The Galata Tower is taller than all the buildings near it.
Simit! Would you like a simit?
A man near Hezarfan calls. He has some tasty Turkish bread rings on his head, but Hezarfan doesn't answer. Every morning the man cries,
Would you like a simit?
But Hezarfan never answers. He doesn't hear or see the man. He is dreaming. In his dream, he is flying over the Bosphorus with the seabirds.
One day, I want to look down from the sky on Istanbul.
He thinks.
I want to fly across the strait with you birds. But how?
Chapter 2. Drawings from Italy. Weeks later, Hezarfan is near the Bosphorus again. Again, he is looking carefully up at the seabirds in the sky. These days, he is making some big wings in his workshop. He needs some help with the design.
Hezarfan!
Someone calls. Hezarfan sees his friend, Mehmed, with a second man. He goes over and says hello to the two of them.
Hezarfan, this is my brother Ali.
Mehmed says.
He's got some drawings for you from Italy.
They're old drawings of birds' wings by Leonardo da Vinci.
Ali says.
Ah, yes. I know Leonardo's work.
Hezarfan says.
Let's see them then.
Ali gives the drawings to Hezarfan. He looks at them for a minute.
Interesting.
Hezarfan says. Then he gives them back.
Thank you, Ali.
Days later, in Hezarfan's workshop.
My wings are ready.
Hezarfan tells his friends.
Let's see you fly then.
Mehmed cries.
Your brother Lagari wants to fly too, I hear.
Ali says.
Everyone in Istanbul knows that.
Yes, everybody's talking about him these days, I hear. But he isn't interested in wings. He wants to make a rocket.
Hezarfan answers.
So, where do you want to practice?
Mehmed asks.
There's a hill not far from here.
Hezarfan says.
I can practice there.
Hezarfan and Mehmed go up to the top of the hill. Ali waits at the foot of it. Mehmed helps Hezarfan with his wings. Then he looks down.
Hey, don't jump from here.
He says.
It's dangerous.
But I must.
Hezarfan says.
My brother's beginning work on his rocket now. But I want to fly first.
Then he runs and jumps. Mehmed closes his eyes. Chapter 3. To Galata. Hezarfan doesn't fly. He falls. Mehmed hears a big crash and a cry from the foot of the hill. He goes quickly down the hill to his friend. Hezarfan is lying under his wings. Ali is next to him.
His leg's broken.
Ali says.
No, it isn't.
Hezarfan answers.
My wings are broken, but I'm okay.
This time!
Mehmed cries.
But what about next time? Be careful, my friend. You don't want to die.
They take the broken wings back to Hezarfan's workshop.
Now what?
Ali asks.
I understand more. The design of my wings needs to be different. Bigger and better. But that can wait.
Hezarfan says.
Right now, I must go and see the district chief of Galata.
Galata?
Mehmed cries.
Why?
I want to fly from the Galata tower, so I need his permission for that.
Forget it. The district chief never asks people into his office.
Ali says.
Let's see.
Hezarfan cries.
Come on!
And he and his friends take a boat across the Bosphorus. The three friends walk from the Bosphorus up to the Galata tower. Two tall guards stop them when they arrive.
What do you want?
One of them asks.
We want to see the district chief of Galata.
Hezarfan answers. Ali and Mehmed are afraid.
What's your name?
The guard asks.
Hezarfan Ahmed Çelebi.
Ah, the brother of the rocket maker, Lagari Hassan Çelebi. All Istanbul is talking of him.
The guard says.
Yes.
Hezarfan answers tiredly.
So, can I see the district chief?
He asks the man.
Wait.
The guard says. And he goes into the district chief's office. Chapter 4. A Brother's Help. Some time later, the guard takes Hezarfan to the district chief's office. Mehmed and Ali wait at the door. The district chief listens to Hezarfan's story.
Very well.
He smiles.
You can fly from the tower. But be careful. Don't fall and die.
No, district chief.
Hezarfan answers.
And I'd like to see your brother. Tell him.
Yes, district chief.
Hezarfan says.
I've got permission!
Hezarfan laughs when he comes out into the street.
Good!
Ali cries happily.
What now?
Mehmed asks.
I must visit Lagari.
Hezarfan says. So Hezarfan visits his older brother. Lagari is working on his rocket when Hezarfan arrives.
Nice design.
Hezarfan says.
Yes,
Lagari answers.
perhaps early next year I can fly up into the sky in it. What about you?
Me, brother? I want to fly across the sky with my wings later this year.
So, it's a race.
Lagari laughs.
Yes,
Hezarfan smiles.
but listen. The district chief of Galata wants to see you.
Right. Well, thank you for your visit. Good luck with your wings, Hezarfan.
Good luck with your rocket, Lagari.
And Hezarfan leaves. 2 weeks later, Hezarfan's new wings are ready.
Now I can fly from Galata to Uskudar.
He cries.
Wait! You must ask the Sultan's permission for that, I think.
Mehmed says.
And the Sultan says no to most people when they ask for things.
So what can I do?
Hezarfan cries.
Listen, these days the district chief of Galata talks about your brother a lot. Now the Sultan's interested in him too. Perhaps Lagari can ask the Sultan for a meeting.
Ali says. So Hezarfan goes and speaks to his brother again.
Yes, I can ask the Sultan,
Lagari smiles.
but he can always say no to a meeting.
Chapter 5. What does the Sultan say? So Lagari speaks to the Sultan, and the Sultan says yes to a meeting. 7 days later, Hezarfan goes to the palace. He walks past the Hagia Sophia. He is nervous.
Please give me permission.
He thinks. Near the Blue Mosque, he is more nervous.
Please say yes.
He thinks. Hezarfan stops near the palace.
The Sultan can of course say no. Or worse, he can say, kill that man.
He thinks.
I'm Hezarfan Ahmet Çelebi. The Sultan wants to see me.
He tells the palace guard. The man goes in. Hezarfan waits. He is very nervous now. After an hour, the guard comes back.
Come with me.
He says to Hezarfan. Hezarfan bows very nervously when he meets the Sultan.
Your Highness, I want to fly across the Bosphorus.
He says. The Sultan smiles. Ah, yes. You're Lagari Hassan's brother, he says.
Yes, Your Highness.
Hezarfan answers. Then he asks for the Sultan's permission.
You have it.
The Sultan says.
You must fly across the Bosphorus tomorrow.
With a good wind,
Hezarfan says.
but without it? What then, Your Highness?
You must ask God for a wind.
The Sultan smiles.
Your Highness.
A vizier says quietly.
People can walk with their legs, but we don't have wings. Is a flying man good in God's eyes?
Listen,
the Sultan answers.
we can think of new things with our brains, and our brains come from God. The first flying man must be an Ottoman, I say.
Yes, Your Highness.
The vizier says, but he looks angrily at Hezarfan. That evening, Hezarfan is not happy.
There's no wind.
He tells Mehmed and Ali. Chapter 6. Hezarfan's Reward. The next morning, there is lots of wind. Hezarfan stands happily with his wings at the top of the Galata tower. Suddenly, he jumps.
He's falling!
People cry. But he is not falling. He is flying with his big white wings over the houses of Galata. Hezarfan's friends, Mehmed and Ali, run with the people down the streets to the Bosphorus. Hezarfan flies out over the water.
I'm flying!
He cries.
People can fly!
He lands across the strait in Üsküdar, a happy man. The next day, the Sultan has a meeting with his viziers at the palace.
People can fly,
He cries excitedly.
and the first flying man is an Ottoman. That's good for our empire. Hezarfan needs a reward.
But, Your Highness,
The vizier nearest to him says,
flying men can land in our palaces and kill us. They're dangerous.
The Sultan thinks about this.
Yes, I see. Perhaps you're right. So, what must we do with Hezarfan then?
He asks.
Kill him.
The vizier answers.
I can't do that.
The Sultan cries.
Then exile him.
The vizier says. So the Sultan calls Hezarfan Ahmed Çelebi to the palace. He gives a reward of 1,000 gold coins to him. Then he exiles him to Algeria. Hezarfan says goodbye to his brother and his friends. He leaves Istanbul that evening. After that, he can fly over the Bosphorus with the birds in his dreams. But he can never go back to Istanbul again. And what about Lagari and his rocket, you ask? Well, perhaps one day I can tell you that story too.